Good evening, everybody. Welcome to your Monday night edition of Not Another Rangers podcast. And my apologies, Scott Kearney. We are a minute late. We do try our best, but we end up caught in a conversation and then a minute so late. So my apologies if you've been patiently waiting on us joining. It's only me and Scott tonight at the moment. We may be joined by another guest at some point during it. We'll see if the hotel internet connection holds up or not. But for us, it's me and Scott. We'll talk through the game. If any comments, any questions, any thoughts, put them in the chat and we'll try and capture them as best we can. It's a bit of a strange time, Scott, now. Do you know, there's not that much happening. Do you know, it feels as though we're just kind of waiting a slow death knell, really, for the Clermont to go. There's been lots of talk about the game over the weekend there. Some of it maybe a little bit over the top, some of it a bit depressing, some of it potentially people were a bit disappointed to actually win the game. You think that if you read some of it in the background, so it's been a bit of a strange reception to a 3-1 win at Tynecastle.
It was, and I seen the classes looking for Ricky. Ricky's on his way back for Abu Dhabi back to Cyprus, so we won't see him till Friday. But I never seen the game, Gary, yesterday. I only seen clips of it because, as you knew, my house is up for sale, so I had viewers yesterday and stuff, and then I caught the highlights. But it was a good victory, but in strange circumstances, because we all know the league's over. I know I keep saying dead rubbers, but every game you want to win every game, doesn't matter what it's a dead rubber or no. But I'm a bit like you. I just feel like every game, win or lose, draw, whatever, we're going to get negativity, and I'm probably one of the worst for giving negativity at times, but until the manager's not here. Do you know what I mean? I think it's just kicking the can down the road, as a lot of people are saying, until we get somebody else in. If we do, that's up to the board, isn't it? And it's up to Patrick Stewart and whatever this now's copy to see if we're going to change a manager. But it seems that way, because what the highlights I've seen, Hearts looked a better side. But we scored 3 goals, granted 2 were OGs, and Butland and NCR, both of them I thought were really good, but I don't know. I only seen the highlights, and as the highlights on sports scene, Hearts probably had more of the chances than we did.
Yeah. But that's football. Do you know, I'm sure I watched some of the Man United Tottenham game after that as well. And Man United a couple of chances. You don't score, you don't put the ball in the back of the net, as we found out to our cost the week before against Queen's Park. It doesn't really matter in some ways. It's all about scoring the goals. I suppose that it's perception. To me, a lot of it was about perception. I think Hearts did play well. Hearts worked hard. Hearts gave us a game at Tynecastle, as they often do. Under a normal set of circumstances, when you had maybe the league to play for, you weren't suffering your worst result in the last generation, a 3-1 win would have been a comfortable and happy day at the office, and you move on. I think that's, and I said some of it's been vastly, I'm not exaggerating because Hearts did play well, which has been vastly overhyped in some senses as to how bad Rangers were over the course of the game.
Yeah, I think it was just after last week's performance, obviously, against Queen's Park, losing the cup and all the drama after that and wanting the manager away. And granted, we weren't happy, and any other time we probably should have been sacked or could have been sacked, but obviously times have kind of changed. At the moment in time, we don't know what the footing is at the club. And granted, this game, it didn't really matter what the result was yesterday. The focus was going to be on the manager. The focus was going to be in the players. So if it went 3-1 to Hearts or 3-1 to Rangers, I think the comments were going to be roughly the same. But like I said, I never seen anything. But when I beat Tynecastle when Motto was manager, even before that, when Jock Wallace was manager and stuff, and I mean, we've been there and get beat, we've been there, won, but no played great. But I just think everything now surrounding the club's no great. Do you know what I mean? And it's not going to be great until the European game comes out, I don't think, because every league performance is going to be scrutinised.
No, I'd agree. I was having a wee look before we come on as to what's going to happen over the next dead rubber month in some ways, because there is about 2 or 3 weeks before the European games even come. So we'll maybe come back to that later then. So in terms of the team lineup then, so there's been a lot of talk about team lineup. The big discussion is probably centred around Tom Lawrence playing. So the question mark from some is, should Tom Lawrence play, given he's probably going to leave at the end of the season? Well, you're assuming he's going to leave at the end of the season. Or should he not play because should he not play because there's other players there? I suppose the other argument is that he's also a paid player at Rangers, and while he's here, he should be doing his job. So where did you stand on it? Lawrence should have been nowhere to be seen, or he needs game time, and part of the squad?
Listen, Tom started the season okay, didn't he? But he's one of these ones we need to get rid of. He's on a high wage. He doesn't offer as much as he probably did when he came in the door. He's getting older. I try to get the wage bill down, as the manager keeps talking about, and they have brought it down, to be fair to them. But I thought maybe yesterday was a game for Curtis to play again, or somebody else just to give a chance to the younger lad. But what I seen, Lawrence done okay, wasn't he? Great. As usual, when the ball comes to him, he gets involved. He's got a good touch, which he always has. He passes the ball forward, but off the ball, he's not great. But that's just Tom Lawrence now because he's not getting legs. But I'd have rather started somebody else. To be fair, Gary, I'd have played Hadji in number 10 now, but let's say that's just me.
I can't decide. I can see both sides of the argument. I think for me that he is getting paid handsomely, allegedly, for the next 3 months. And just say his record was good at the start of the season. I've heard a few things saying he didn't offer anything in a lot of games. He scored a number of winners for us and did score goals. He scored goals in Europe for us. Problem is he's been injured and constantly injured over the 3 years. It's not. I don't think anybody doubts his actual technical ability, and even yesterday, his technical ability was evident. As you say, he can't necessarily run anymore. Can't tackle. Doesn't get involved in that way. But he is a member of the squad for the next 2 months in European games and other games. He will add a bit of value. To me, it seems. I suppose if the same argument would apply to Morelos or Kent and anybody else that was leaving a few years ago, where do you draw the line? If guys are leaving, when do you stop playing them? I suppose I think it's probably more because people have got a bit of a frustration with other things that Lawrence was getting a bit of brunt at.
Listen, he's going because he's one of these guys already wants rid of, just because he's not played that much. And Ross has appeared in the chat. Ross, if you still get a link, pop on. It could have been it. If Barami was playing yesterday, he'd have probably got a bit of abuse as well because he's been firing all cylinders. Do you know that way? So, but I think it is time for. Listen, I don't know if Clement's going to be here. I'm hoping he isn't here, Gary. I'm hoping by the end of this season, Clement's away and we've got somebody else in the building. But if he is here and he's been guaranteed, well, not guaranteed, but he's been told there's a very good chance he will be here next season for the summer. I think himself, he has to start looking forward to next season already. You can't wait until the summer. He has to start just now. And that means blending in Curtis and Rice more, and just to see if the lads, we all want them playing right because we all think they've got potential, Rice potential, Curtis potential. But if he gives them game time between now and the end of the season, I'm not talking 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here. I'm talking games. And then he can decide himself come the summer, can I trust these lads for next season? Or did I have to get them loan maybe? Or do I have to bring other folk in?
No, I'd agree. So in terms of other changes, I think with Butland, Raskin, I'm trying to remember who they were, Butland, Raskin, Suter and Ciala all came back in. And I said, you've probably not seen the game. And Ciala was probably one of the more standout players, and there was a lot of conversation with Clement after the game during the press conference, and he was saying that how he's developing over the last 6 or 7 professional games he's played now, and he looks big, he looks strong. His passing range is really good. I think that's one of the things that impressed me most. He's still probably got a bit of defensive work to do, but he's, in terms of getting himself into a position where he's a first choice for us for the remainder of the season, do you think he's probably getting to that point?
I think he probably rested at times as well, just because we've got players, maybe Fernandez can come in proper, can come back in, maybe Suter can be rested as well, because he has to kind of, they're going to finish second, so he's going to have to prioritise European games first so he doesn't get any injuries. That's going to be a big couple of games coming up. Mm-hmm. I think Ciala's done superb since he's come in, and that was kind of forced as well because of injuries. I don't know if he'd have played as many games if there wasn't any injuries, but I think, look at his first game against Dundee, he was kind of
ropey,
caught in headlights because he wasn't really sure what we were doing. We listen, Rangers players don't really know half time what we're doing. I mean, we've not really got a structure, a set of play. We've got guys who deliver moments at certain times for us, and that's how we win games at times. But I just think you can start to see potential. You can see what he offers. Football-wise, he's really a footballer.
Yeah.
Granted, defensively, he's maybe not there yet because it does take guys time a while to get used to Scottish football. It's totally different from anywhere. Maybe not as good quality-wise, but it's different the way we put teams play up here striker-wise and stuff. So I think that will come, but football-wise, Paul mentioned he's very calm on the ball. He can pick a great pass at times, and he's composed. Do you know that way? He doesn't really panic, and he's still young, he's still learning, and he's going to have games where he doesn't look like that, but he's going to have games where he looks really good. So I think it's just taking time with these young guys.
And playing them at the right times. I mean, I suppose the other argument may come with that later on is Hefty looks like he's starting to struggle more and more. But I don't know whether that's tiredness or whether it's a little bit of, I don't know, just the way the team's playing. But he's probably one in need of a rest when you start to watch him, and he's not getting that, surprisingly, despite the fact we've got a £5 million Turkish international sitting on the bench, which is slightly strange. So, first few minutes, I don't know, you might have seen the disallowed goal, Scott. It's a really good set piece, nice short corners, ball goes across, and Suter was marginally offside, I think, to do the lines, and he wasn't too far off. But I suppose that the point of that, there was a few during the game that was really good set pieces. They have improved a lot in the last couple of weeks. I don't know if you've noticed, there seems to be more variation, a lot less of just whipping the ball into the box and hope for a big guy to get nowhere near it. I
think we have improved attacking-wise set pieces, like our own corners we're taking. Free kicks we're taking. I think defensively, set piece wise, we're still a shambles. I don't know if we're supposed to go man for man, or we go in zonal. I don't know what we're doing, because a lot of teams won free headers against us, especially around about the 6-yard area, penalty box area, the penalty spot area. And you've got Suter there, who's a big commanding defender, but I mean, you're going to speak about the goal, the Hearts player beat him to the ball, and that can happen.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen like every so often. It happens quite regular. And if we're improving in our set pieces attacking wise, we're going to have to do it defensively, because that's a weak link every team in Scotland picks up on. Get the ball out wide, get the high ball, and look for free kicks, look for corners, because Rangers are dodgy defending.
I suppose that takes me nicely to tactical. Do you know, one of the things that was really evident during the first half, and it's been evident lots throughout the season, probably last season as well, is that we play very direct, as you know, right? And we miss out the midfield and don't really. But what happens is then we are then, I suppose, pressed against, or transition, as they call it, all that sort of stuff. And constantly teams are running through us. So if you look at the chance, I don't know if you've seen the chances that Hearts created much, but most of them either came from us losing the ball by being pressured in the middle of the park, or a bad pass, and literally they're running right against 2 or 3 defenders. And that's something that's happened. Well, since the Ross County game last season, wasn't it? And it's continually happened ever since then. And I suppose that's often in these away games, particularly, as well. There's no balance, there's no structure. We seem to be quite easy to get at.
I think it's just the way we play, Gary. I mean, I thought Deal yesterday was trying to do stuff, and he was trying to get forward. He was trying to run, making the runs. We only pick them out. But when he does that, and then you lose the ball, like you say, you've only got one midfielder in there, and that'll area to cover. And your full-backs, I thought both of them were poor, what I seen. I thought Tav was getting beat quite a lot. I thought Hefty was getting quite a lot. But both of them, the ball down the side between the full-back and either depends who's playing centre-half, either. It doesn't matter who it is, but the ball's down the side, they get cut out a lot. So we do. And when teams hit us like that, we struggle to turn to defend. And Hearts had opportunities yesterday. If they get next week, they'll probably score them, because some of the chances they had, I don't know why. I don't know exactly how they missed them. Especially when the boy cut across. I think it came off the back of Anciala, I could be wrong. And then he cut it back again. The boy standing in the middle of the box, and he hits it straight to Butland. Do you know what I mean? He has to score it.
It's a poor effort. I've seen a question here for Curry, Scott. Start with this. So I don't know where this has came from, but for a new manager, Carlos Cuellar or Jermaine Defoe. I don't know where Carlos Cuellar is these days. And Jermaine Defoe, I've seen a couple of times on Sky. I don't know your thoughts on those 2 options for Curry.
Probably not at the moment. They're probably not experienced enough, but it doesn't mean you can never say never. Listen, Defoe talks good on Sky. I quite like him. He's quite informative. He knows his stuff. I know he was into coaching. Cuellar's the same. He's into coaching. I think he did. He's not a coach or a manager in Spain, 2nd division. At one point, I'm not sure. But listen, a lot of football players don't go into the coaching side and go into management. Some do. Some are going to be good at it. Some aren't. It's just your luck who you get. Do you know what I mean? Because they used to play with us, they're going to be like Rangers, aren't they? When they're mentioned as in coaching bracket, or managers are going to say, well, I like to go back to more club to manage, and that's what Cuellar, I think, says. But like I say, you can never say never. So Paul says he's still there, so Cuellar's still at the top. So keep an eye on him, see if he does well. I mean, it's one of these things. Sometimes you miss a boat. If someone does really well, and you don't nip it in the bud and get him, then he gets promoted, he does that. Then your time of getting him's finished. at window shots and then they're going to somebody else. So you just maybe have to keep an eye on people like that.
It's always a gamble. You never know how they're going to work. You know, there's a question here I've seen, and it's their fullbacks. And I've seen it sense danger. One of the things I was going to come to, and it probably caught my eye yesterday more than anything, is I suppose the lack of, I don't know, not just lack of effort or lack of ability or lack of strength. Obviously, you've got Hadji, Cherny, Lawrence, obviously, as we talked about. Their defensive skills are probably lacking, it's my fair to say. And you know, what it did come quite obvious is, as I said, is you were being attacked against, so maybe 3 or 4 players with them, and nothing in between. Do you think that's one of the structural problems? The fact is, Cherny doesn't really get back at all. Hadji's second touch is a foul if he goes down there and tries to tackle, and Lawrence, as you say, has not got the mobility.
That's what you get when you play players like that, Gary, but you've got 3 guys who offensively can turn the game for you with a pass or with a goal, whereas on the other side, when you're defending, you're not going to offer much because that's not their game. And when we do get hit in the transition, Cherny's not the quickest at getting back. His awareness defensively isn't great. Lawrence isn't the quickest getting back. Hadji's the same. Hadji tries, but he's not the quickest either. And then when you get Dio try to attack and you've got only Rasks in there, it's a lot of work for one guy. So I think he's going to maybe either change formation, which he won't because he likes that formation, or he has to change the playing staff, because to get a certain way of match, and you've seen it with other teams, you see it with teams in England, you see it with Spurs, you see it with United, when they get caught in transition, they're pish. And the Rangers seem to be the same at times, because we can see a lot of goals that way. Doesn't matter who we're playing. You've mentioned Ross County, Dundee's done it to it, Queen's Park done it to us a few times before they scored. So it's something that happens quite a lot. So it has to be recognised by a manager. It's great going that way because we're creating, but it's when it's coming back this way, we seem to get hurt. But then when we play against decent sides, like we've done it against Celtic, we've done it against Spurs, we've done it against Man United at Old Trafford. We play against decent sides, we look better at doing it. But when we're playing against sides where you think we should be winning, we get caught out very easily. So I don't know if it's a mindset as well, or maybe just the formation or the structure's not there for the type of games. Yeah. Or like I said earlier, you can revert back to the players. Maybe need different players for different games.
Aye. And I say Clement does never sell play. I actually think he does. I suppose that's the worrying thing. I think it's probably became evident what his style of play is. It's not about possession. It's not about passing the ball about. So getting it forward directly, using those moments players, which will maybe come back to in a wee while, and hope to potentially create enough chances and leave gaps at the back, and gaps are consistently there. And as you say, if you've got players in the middle of the park that are covering the space, that's fine. And maybe people have talked in the comments about Ryan Jack or other players over the years. I think when Raskin, for example, yesterday, he didn't play well and probably hasn't played well a couple of games recently, which is fine. That's what's going to happen. He's playing really well before that. But it's more evident the gaps have reappeared because his form's maybe dipped a little bit again from that wee spell. He's playing really well. I suppose that's I don't know if that's my take on it. Just looking at it, and obviously Dio will be involved in lots of the game. He'll lose the ball lots, but he'll work hard and he'll do the stuff that is. He's more evident. He's perhaps more obvious in games because he's either putting the ball at the park or he's driving forward or pirouetting. He's always involved, but maybe the first half he was really poor. So
I like players taking risks, Gary. Like Diamandi does it quite a lot, but a lot of his risk taking, he loses the ball quite a lot. I think he has to kind of pick and choose when. He gets away with it more in European games. If you watch him in Europe, he looks really, really good because he gets away with it. Because when you're playing against better players, you get away with more stuff, and that sounds strange, but you do. But your teams up here, it's very difficult because they've set already. They're still with a low block. A lot of teams are just sitting 2 banks or 4, and then if they win the ball back, it's like go, and they're all running, and we've only got maybe 2 or 3 back, and that's when we get caught. So I think it's depending who you're playing. You have to pick and choose. I thought yesterday in the highlights, he looked good at times, but he gave the ball away a lot. So he does, but he always does to Diamandi because he's a risk taker.
Welcome, Ross.
Hi, Ross.
Hello.
How's your 5 guys?
Can you eat your dinner in peace down here?
Have you just ran away for the restaurant to come up here to give us your thoughts and observations?
I wouldn't say I've got any thoughts or observations, Gary. You know me.
So we'll just talk about the game to us. We'll just talk through some of the stuff around style of play and how it's quite evident at that game that basically just like we get attacked or let ourselves get attacked and then attacked ourselves and It just kind of back forward over and over again. So unless our players are playing well, that causes danger. And that's, I don't know what your take on the actual game was.
My take on the game, Gary, is again, well, we're a moments team, aren't we? And lucky enough, Hearts have gave us the two moments that we needed. I did tell you that the goal is a goal a game, every game anyway. So that was the first goal gets you away, doesn't it? But after that, it's just plain luck. My man Joshua Barry, who obviously is my favourite Rangers man about the place, he says the day 16% chance of us winning that tie. So everything broke for us. And how our manager can come out after it and say, you can't tell me we never played well, we've just beat Hearts by scoring 3 goals is bonkers to me.
Aye. No, I think they create far too many chances, far too easily, mainly from our own giving them the ball. There was not a lot of play from them. And either than that, I think Hadji and Butland, and I can't remember who else, basically gifted them chances, won at different points.
What I would say is it was really nice that Jack Butland's visited Hogwarts to get his bones grew back in his hands. That was nice. I really enjoyed seeing that. I thought he was outstanding, to be honest, and I've been his biggest critic, but I thought he was really good.
He was, he looked confident. I would never like him seeing the ball at his feet, but he looked confident with a couple of really good saves, particularly when he turned around the post. He was, but again, it was too easy in terms of chances actually getting there. So I suppose we obviously scored the goal from what was his name? Jamie McCart used to be. Was it Johnson captain? Used to be a couple of years ago. Obviously, he was a decent enough player. But the cut back for Hadji, the one that I don't know if you've seen the highlights, Scott. The thing that was interesting was that the cut back for Hadji, and none of our players were anywhere 12 yards out, which was kind of evident again. I suppose takes me back to the point: we play Agaman, doing well, but he likes to move about the park, move about the box, and for some reason we've moved away from Dessa's been in the team.
Listen, you're going to get Agaman now. He's a young lad. I thought he actually done all right yesterday in what I've seen. I know you get a bit of criticism. He's that type of player. He's young, he's still learning. He's going to have the odd flicks and tricks and look good, and then he might make an awful pass, an awful shot. But I thought he wasn't. He was still trying to get involved. But like I said, I only seen the highlights. But the ball across for Hadji's a good ball. It's just McCart doesn't deal with it properly. His face is on net when he tries to kick it, and I think he just comes off and he kicks it himself. But it's not just Agaman that should in there. Do you know what I mean? Deal man, they should be in there. We should have somebody else in there because the ball's put out to Hadji quite early on because he points where he wants it, and by the time he does that, people should start moving in.
Yeah,
we were lucky to get it, to be honest with you, because like you said, nobody in the box, and we're only going to score that way. And I think he could have had a hat-trick LG yesterday. I know he get 2, but he was on another one he was quite unlucky with.
He was unlucky. The one was a header off Agaman as well. It just kind of bounced towards it as well. There was a few. I suppose Ross, just then sticking with that say we moved away. Dessers was in good form. Man United, and all the other goals he was scoring. Agaman playing behind him looked as though it was working, and we moved away. It was no coincidence to me. Now, obviously, the game's a different game state when he comes on 70 minutes, but Agaman looked freed up. He was able to move about, and Dessers was on the edge of the defenders. I'm not sure why he's moved from that because it seems to suit him better. Suits both players better.
I think the money is Agaman up through the middle and Danilo playing round about him. I think that's when the two of them looked at their best. Dessers, it's that conundrum, Gary, isn't it? With Dessers, like you know what you're going to get. And what you know you're going to get is the most unpredictable player you've ever seen in your life. With Agaman, as I say, we're a fan base that are notoriously absolute nutcases when it comes to players. After 5 or 6 games, we're going to sell them for record-breaking money, and then, as I said, no bids come in, and then a couple of bad games, a couple of poorer games, and now he's tough and needs rested. And we're not a great club for allowing young players to just go on and develop. as a fan base, and the problem we've got the now as well is we've got a manager who's also not prepared to let youth go and develop, as he showed with the likes of subbing Bailey Rice at half-time the game before. When it comes to striking options, I think we've got to play Igamani up there. I think we've got to, but I just don't know who you play in behind them, because nobody else is going to give you what Danilo gives you, which really allows you to see the best of Igamani, because you've got somebody else who does that peeling off either side for him.
And I get point. I suppose the thing Danilo does is to allow Igamani going left or right or back, wherever he wants to go. Danilo then moves into the box. The problem is in other games like yesterday, Danilo, Igamani does those same things. Then nobody's in the box, and you're left with nobody there. So very fortunate, as we say, Scott, to the 1-0 up. For the next wee spell, Hearts then probably create those chances. There's a couple of good saves, say from Butland. The shot, good Shankland. I'm going to pick you up. No, I'm going to come back to you, Ross. You two is eating now. You want me to leave you a minute? Come back to you in a minute.
No, I'm all right, mate.
Shankland hits a shot. Really good save. Right, but I suppose I want to get thoughts, because you talk about Shankland a lot and how his performance was yesterday in this new number 10 role he plays. Is that because he's lost pace? I've heard that mentioned, or is it just because he's a technically good footballer?
Mate, I think he was the best player on the park yesterday. I don't know what you thought. I thought he still had 4 assists playing in the 10, and he's a goal scorer. Mate, you don't need me to tell you how much I rate Lon Shankland, but it gives Hearts so much. The strike yard for the edge of the box is ridiculous, but I don't think it's to do with pace, Gary. I think the boy Wilson's doing really well up top for them, and I think the whole Shankland dropping back one was because Naismith was looking for that bit of bite and a wee bit of technical in the 10 that they've really struggled with. So I think 2 seasons ago he kind of played off Josh Ginnelly, which is when he started kind of playing that wee bit deeper. But what I would tell you is I wouldn't mind seeing him playing in behind Igamani for us. I'll tell you that. It's only when you see him. He looked. I think the ball. I think you talked about the ball through. He played between Suter. I think it was a crank ball. That's I haven't played that one. And obviously a shot. What about the one? The ball kind of rebounds back, and he just kind of flicks it with the back heel into the boy's path. And I think Butland made a good save off it as well. He's so clever, honestly, very, very clever player.
I think, and a lot of this podcast is probably about perception about the result of the game yesterday, but I always think of the perception around Shankland, and just if we watched him this season, that he's just this basically a goal scorer with no ability whatsoever, which is kind of, when he's been playing number 10 for the majority of the season, that's kind of flies in the face of that somewhat, although he's not been scoring a goal, so you can beat him with that stick half the time. I'll
tell you what, mate, if he was playing the 4 or 5 balls through yesterday to himself, he would have had 5 goals and 5 assists. I think I think that would work for us. I think having a Igamani with somebody, Lawrence is just clever, mate. I don't care. People can have their opinion on him, but there's no many players in our team that play some of the wee passes and wee touches that he plays yesterday, and I include Hadji, Bajrami. He's better in the 10 than most of them, and they're no dead mobile either. If you're going to throw that, he can't run. You don't need to be able to run when you can hold the ball up and he's got a great way to pass as well. As I say, you don't need to hear it from me again how much I rate him. And I think even yesterday you see that on a free, you'll not do much better business than picking Lawrence up on a free.
Aye, Scott, just to bring you in, I think it's a no-brainer in some ways. And I've said before, even if he's not starting every single week, and no player should be starting every single week at Rangers, there's definitely, having watched him, there's a squad role for him.
For Shankland, definitely. I've watched Lawrence since he started at Queen's Park, so I know he's good points and his bad points. I've seen him mature into a really good footballer, because he didn't have that as a youngster. But he's matured, he's learned, and he knows the game. His awareness is really good, but his passing is getting better. It's always been kind of there. It was just when he was younger, it was his confidence. He beat himself up too much when he was younger. That's how when he at Aberdeen and he was at loan at Morton and St Mirren, if he missed a few chances, it would get to him, and he beat himself up. Now he doesn't let that bother him. You can see that. But you would take him because he's not going to be a high wage. He's out of contract, and we're trying to bring the wage bill down. And Listen, we all want to get out and buy quality players and guys who are worth millions, but the days are gone. We have to be clever with what we're doing. That, so we're trying to bring the wage bill down. We don't know how much money we're going to have to spend in this summer, no matter who the manager is. So I think whoever's there, Cotton's going to have to be clever and look at players, not just for Scotland or England, look at players for all over, see what he can bring in. It's better players than we've got here. Plus guys with potential like he's done with Agaman and Jeff Day, and that, I mean, not going to cost you a lot up front, but if they get better and mature, we can sell them on for a profit. Every signing's a gamble, Gary. I mean, you could buy Tierney for $7 million next season, and his form could drop or he could get injured. So these things, everything's a gamble. Right. But I think we're going to have to be clever. And Shankland to me is, I don't know if the manager likes him anyway. I don't know if he likes him enough to bring him through. But for Tom Lawrence, as Jen said there, he could play that role easily and burn half the money Tom's getting, and he'd be happy because he's always wanted to play with Rangers, isn't he? So I'm not saying that season to buy him. I'm just saying for somebody that quality on half the money, and it's not going to cost you a lot of money. Considering we spent $3.5 million on Barami, who's still trying to find his feet. He may never. Maybe a case of cutting that short, maybe try to get money back. Maybe he's more suited to the Italian game than he is to the Scottish game. So it's just see what happens between now and the summer. That's why if I was come on and you're told you're going to be here next season, or shows why you should be here next season, this is why you should be looking at guys he knows are going to be here next season, and he can start to build about and trust, and not play guys who he knows are leaving in the summer. That's not going to get him anywhere, Gary. It's not. It's just going to get more than fans on his case. But if people are leaving in the summer, they're not going to end up caring if he loses his job or not. But if he's playing for somebody who, the young lads or other folk, to say, right, I might be here next, a good chance I'll be here next season. I want to build my team new, you. It might fit what he wants to do more better, do you know what I mean? I think it's going to be, I know it's not long till the summer, but it's long for him because every game is going to be scrutinised, and somebody's mentioned Cortez. Yeah, I forgot about Cortez. He's just, we don't know what's going to happen with Cortez. Listen, I hope the boy turns it around and becomes a really good player, but it's not his fault he's injured all the time, but that's another deal with it, and he kind of blindsided. But I think it's going to be, we've still got a lot of players in the squad, but guys coming back as well who might not be able to get it if they don't perform well. Hopefully they do enough to seal the moves away and we get someone in for them. But yeah, he's going to have to look at guys like Curtis Rice and other ones here. And if Yilmaz isn't going to be involved at all, you could probably get something for Yilmaz, because I think he's still very highly rated in Turkish football, even though he is injured a lot.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a question here, Ross, from Alan Gillis. Well, talks about a question or a comment. But Tierney at $7 million. So this probably leads us on to Tierney. I'm just going to jump on it a wee bit. Tierney's a fascinating player because he's constantly involved in the game, either losing the ball, shooting, creating something, not trying back. But he scores, he assists, but he looks, in most of the time, he doesn't actually have a good game. You don't go walk away most games thinking he's played particularly well. But he is contributing. He's probably the biggest one that's contributing all season. So he puts us 2-1 up, and just, I suppose, I don't think we pay $7 million for him. I don't think we've got $7 million, but I suppose his contribution over the season so far is probably one of the best.
Man, I thought he was rotten again. Barry's goal. See if he doesn't score, if the ball doesn't drop to him in the box, you say he was rotten. But at least he's available, Gary, is what I would say. He's always fit. He's always there you go. He's always fit. He's always available to play. Like the Cortez one kills me, because you say $7 million for Tierney. Is it a lot? It probably is. But at the same time, if you're guaranteeing yourself goals and assists, is it worth it? Possibly. And then you look at Cortez at $4 million, Diamande at $4 million, Yilmaz at $5 million, Bajrami at $3.5, $4 million, and you go, $7 million's probably the going rate.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gary. I don't know. Like, am I right in saying that, like, say, Sima's out of contract this year? His loan finishes and he's out of contract, is he not?
Surely they didn't just let him go on loan for a year with an extension or something like that. They just let him go with a year left his contract. I wasn't sure.
I'm not sure, Gary, but I thought I read. I could be wrong, but I thought I'd read that he's out of contract in the summer, and he's somebody that you would really chase if possible, or get on it. I don't know. I don't know.
Do you think, I'm that with you, Ross? So one of the things we were talking about earlier on before you come on was, I suppose, that it's about the profile of players we've got. You know, just I'm thinking, listening to you talking about Tierney is good. He's tricky. He creates moments. He scores goals. Bajrami's probably the same if he ever clicks into a groove. Hadji, we know, contributes moments, and probably that's it. What we don't have, as you say, somebody like Sima does a different thing. We don't have somebody else that do different options. They all do the same thing effectively, and maybe that's part of the squad building for next year as much as anything else. Picking the right and the different profiles to actually make it a balanced squad rather than 3 or 4 guys with the same attributes.
I think that to me that makes the Bajrami signing ludicrous, because you've went and spent 4 million on a position where you've got Hadji, who, bearing in mind at this point Clement didn't think was good enough to play and didn't want to use him. Lawrence, you've got youth players in there, you've got Danilo that can play there, you've got we've got loads of different people that can play in their roles, and then I don't know, you look at Cortez and I get I going about him a lot, but he was here for 6 months last year and played about 3 games, and then we go and take him back on loan again this year with an obligation to buy, and you go, why did we not look to a Danny Armstrong or somebody of that out that we know can play in the league and see if they can take the step up? Because Danny Armstrong wouldn't have gave you any less this season than Cortez has, and the reason we never went, if you listen to the rumours, the reason we never went for the likes of Lennon Miller is because we thought we already had enough people in there. Mm-hmm. So why did we go and spend 4 million on Cortez, 4 million on Bajrami, 1.5 million on Proper, when they're not any better than what we've got in the positions, and they don't offer us something different to what we already have? As you say, you maybe want somebody on the left that can cut in on their right foot, but somebody else on the left that can go and hit the corners, and that gives you 2 options. You can play narrow, or else you can put on your big striker and aim for the byline and put what crosses in. Gives you 2 options. We don't have that anywhere on the park, really. Everything we've got is just the same. And the worst part about it is the same players we've got that fit in these positions. We don't play a tactic that suits any of them anyway.
That's very true. So, there's not a lot else happens in the game, to be honest, after that. Once we go 2-1 up, the Hearts kind of fall away a wee bit. The game looks done. Dessers comes on, muscles McCart to give his second own goal of the game, Scott. Strange the way we done it, but second own goal, game's 3-1, game's pretty much done. Hearts have another couple of chances, we have a couple of breakaways, but it just peters out, and I suppose it's what should be a relatively pleasing 3-1 at Tynecastle becomes a just move on. When's the next game? When's the Tottenham Man U game coming on?
That's good. It's like that, and I thought the Man United game was pish as well. Football quality was poor from both sides, so it's really, really poor. As the Premier League is getting, to be fair, I don't think the Premier League is as good as it used to be, but that's just my opinion. But 3-1 in the half time at Hearts, Gary, is a good result, and it's probably a good result considering how we've been playing. But I think it was just the way sometimes the manager comes out and says stuff. I think that annoys fans as well, doesn't it? It's just because, and I'm one of his biggest critics, and he's not everybody's favourite person at this moment in time. So if they came out and said Hearts were a better side, we would agree with him. But he came out and said we played really well, we created just as many chances, but we never. And it's always going to get twisted, isn't it? It doesn't matter what he says. But I just feel like between now and the season, every game is going to be scrutinised league-wise. Europe will be different because we've got something to focus on, as in the 2 legs, and hopefully we get through to the next qualifying stage. Do you know that way? Because there's something to aim for in the league. We're going to finish second, and we're just every time I play a game, people enjoy it, but people there looking for negative stuff just so it's another pop at the manager, and I'll be one of them, because I hope he'll hear the end of the season. But it's not just me. But I would never say I hope we get beat so we get sacked. That's a no for me. Doesn't matter how bad they're playing. We don't want to see a team get beat, no matter who they're playing against. If that's the case, then don't go at all. Just don't watch, because that's poor in my opinion. I mean, you can voice negativity, you can voice opinions and stuff, but I would never say, I hope we get beaten Saturday or Sunday just so he gets a sack. That's a no.
I don't know. I get a point, Ross. I suppose I don't know that. I said at the very start. I think there was a kind of feeling. I couldn't really decide whether people were a bit unhappy actually that Rangers did win, as Rangers fans, because there's this malaise in there. There's a bit of uncomfortableness. You're looking at things and trying to project and get confirmation bias. Is that what you call it? So that's bad. So this must be bad, and this must be bad, as opposed to 51-1. It wasn't a great game in a normal set chain of events. You'd be perfectly happy with it, and you move on.
You never want to lose. But I do think that there's a fine line between wanting to lose and no being excited by winning. And when was the last time Rangers scored and you jumped off your seat and you were giving it the big one? In the league, it's not really happening for us, is it? It's like, when's it? The problem is, back to Andy Halliday, is, see, now we're all just waiting on the next fuck up, and then we know we'll be right back into this cycle of we need to get him gone.
Right.
And nothing's going to change. To be fair, Rangers and who's a bit of a chore, isn't it? To be honest, I mean, I don't go to the games, but the likes of people like yous that are up there sitting freezing cold, paying £8 for a soggy hamburger and whatever else, like, hats off to yous, honestly. But it can't be fun. I bet you're not sitting on a Saturday night going, get a dancer, getting your shirt out and pressed and ready to go on the Sunday because you're buzzing for it. Do you know what I mean? And that's what football's supposed to be, innit? Football's supposed to be an escape. You've worked your arse off and work all week, and you look forward to going and seeing your team. And I just feel as if a lot of the stuff that's happening at the club now is taking away that enjoyment, even for your armchair fan like myself. Never mind you guys that go and watch.
I think there's a saying, Ross, what is it, when the fun stops? Is that what people would say? Is that obviously I don't share who that's from, obviously not breaching copyright anywhere. But there is, I mean, like Scott, I go to the games, you don't necessarily go for the football, you're going because you go with your daughter, you go with your family, you see it's less of the football's the chore in it, and it's the other stuff running about it that makes it worthwhile in the meantime, which is disappointing. We're in February and there's no that level of excitement.
I've always said, Gary, but you take the good with the bad, don't you? I know we moan and groan, but you have to. If you just can't always be there for the good times. If you're just there for the good times and not the bad times, then don't be there, because we're not a glory hunting team. I mean, the Rangers never have been a glory hunting team because they've always had bad spells through our history. So, I mean, the 70s only great in episodes, 80s only great until Souness came in when David Holmes brought him in, and do you know what I mean? And then obviously what happened, and then just now, so you get good spells, you get bad times. At this moment in time, it's awful, but it's not always going to be like that. We might never see it happening again, but it's not always going to be this way. Do you know that way? So you have to take it good with the bad. Now I'll never stop going no matter what, but people are different. Everybody's got their own opinion how to do things, and if people don't want to go, they don't want to go. People want to go, they want to go. It's each to their own, and that's what football's about. Do you know what I mean? So you can't, I'm not saying my opinion's right and anybody else's, but I'll rather be there and moan than sit away and moan. So everybody's different.
Scott, there's been lots of talk, I suppose, over the last week as well about the radio. By the time we got to Saturday, there was a lot of the radio silence for Rangers, obviously very quiet over the course of the week. Do you think that's been a positive or a negative, or do you think that was a wrong decision made by the chairman or CEO not to come out and address the fact that it was a seismic result against them, or do you think it just wouldn't have actually any value?
You probably can look at it both ways. Either didn't have anything to say, so there's no point in saying anything, or didn't want to make the situation worse, or they just don't give a shit. Do you know what I mean? But I basically think they didn't want to make the situation worse, so they just left it, which was the wrong move for me. These come out and, I'm not saying everybody, but even maybe saying, come on to some of the players to say we apologise for the worst performance and cup performance and it never happened before, and to say, I know it's all things because we've said it so many times, like we learn for this and we move on, but even just do something. But they never done anything, which probably sometimes silence is worse because you don't know what's happening behind the scenes. And we all thought we didn't hear nothing. I don't know, we looking to sack the manager. Obviously, that never happened either. So we don't know what's happening, Gary. I'm doing this review as in, a review is more than just football stuff. But once I think people are sitting back waiting to see if this review is concluded, then it'll come on and go. But that doesn't mean that either. Do you know that way? So in this review might not give you answers they're looking for either. So I don't really know what's happening. I think they have to start telling us something. I think they probably will near May, June time, because that's when you have to start your season again. And I think they'll probably tell us something then. But until that point, I don't think they'll tell us much unless you get an email saying you owe £50 for your ticket for the next round of the Europa League.
Yeah, Ross, I'm just going to come with this. Williams put a note, I think the board are all interested in European gravy train. I don't know if that's, I'm assuming it's maybe a criticism, but given the fact that our money woes, it's probably one of the more crucial things that we're involved in. We get in the quality of the Europa League gives us more money than winning the Scottish League, doesn't it?
I kind of agree. That, and that's why I said the other day, at this point in time, the league's done. You're where you're going to be in the league. You're out the cups. He's got a decent record in Europe, so that's the only reason I can see why you would keep him at this point. If you're looking to make a bit of money, I would definitely say, going by the comments, we could introduce a red, white, and blue waffle to the kiosks at half time. Soggy blue waffle. No, I think that Europe, as you say, what do you get for winning the Scottish League? It's not much, is it? It's
$3 million or something like that.
Compared to 5 million for getting through into the automatically qualifying in the Europa. So that's where the money is. You probably find that Europe will be good for us as well because folk will want to go. Getting to this stage of the Europa League and some of the teams you might end up playing against, folk might want to go to see the other team every bit as much as Rangers, to be honest, depending how it goes. Jesus Christ, that chair went far back here this year. So
Mad guys will kill him.
My God, man, nearly ended up in round 220. Europe's massive now because Europe's what's going to fund the rebuild in the summer, the rebuild to the rebuild to the rebuild.
Yeah.
So we're in a chain of rebuilds, Gary, and every penny counts when it comes to that. So I'd like to put it on record here publicly that I've trademarked the Ibrox red, white, and blue wet waffle. All right, that's my trademark. Right. So if they charge £12 for it, I think it's about £6 a month, to be honest. But I think if they charge £12 for it, then I want 8. All right.
So please like and subscribe to the waffles. So it's a strange couple of weeks. I was looking right. So in the next 10 days, we've got Simon at home, Kelly away, and then Motherwell at home before we then get the Europa League starts again, right? So a couple of what should be winnable games. And unfortunately, we're very fortunate that we're getting a weekend break in between the 2 Europa League games. I don't know why that's happened. I think maybe is it a cup game or something we're missing it on? Scottish Cup.
Scottish Cup.
Maybe come on, method is madness. He wanted to make sure the players were fresh.
Oh, madness! That is madness.
We have got so for the next couple of weeks we have got these. I'd say someone Saturday or Sunday, Kelly next Wednesday, then Motherwell next Saturday. He's not going anywhere for the next period, isn't it? I mean, obviously he's going to be there for those 3 games, unless you're going to have some calamity. You then get European games, and then you've got an Old Firm game after that. So for the next month, we are going to be where we are, no matter what.
Yeah, I think the next time it's going to be, unless he loses any game against your next 3 opponents, the thing's just going to carry on the way it is, as everybody says. Been saying podcasts I've listened to, papers I've read, and people are saying just kick the can down the road. That's what's going to happen between now and then. I think European game, win or lose, we've done well, depending who we get. We can get 1 or 3 teams, isn't it? So, but I think if we get a good result there, that'll put some positivity back in the building. But it comes back to when you go to Celtic Park, doesn't it? If you get beat there, that's basically they won the league, but they could where results going, they could possibly maybe even get it that day, as in mathematically. And if that happens, I don't think Clement could withstand that. I don't. He's withstood the Queen's Park result. I don't know if he could do that one. I think if he does that one, then the boy is bulletproof. Do you know what I mean?
I definitely don't think. I think he's living in borrowed time. But if he continues to win or enough, get by to the Celtic game, if he gets hammered in, I don't think there's any come back. Ross, there's a question that somebody's mentioned here, and this is one of the things I've heard a few times. I think Philip Clewon's came out saying about the wage bill. There's been a lot of talk about the fact the wage bill has been reduced significantly over the last year. Stuff he didn't know about when he joined, and it's continued to reduce. I mean, there's a little bit of excuses there. Might be true, but it's obviously he's getting his message across. It's fair to say.
It's all right reducing the wage bill, Gary, but see when you're spending millions and millions on shite at the other end, what's the point? We've reduced the wage bill by 3 million. Well, you see what you've reduced the wage bill by. You've spent it on Bajrami. See next year, if you reduce it by another 4 million, that'll pay for Cortez. So it's all right reducing the wage bill, but if you're still spunking money up the wall, then what's the point? That's the reason why we need to reduce the wage bill, because we spend so much money, and then you've got the folk who support the board by going, the board put their own money into the club. But the board put their own money into the club because they need to put money into the club to sustain it, because they've wasted all the money before, and the money that they put in, they're taking their 3, 4, 5, 6, 7% on, and then just reinvesting it because they've wasted all that money at the back end again. So that essentially the board are printing money. It doesn't really, for me, I think that cutting the wage bill is all right as long as you're not wasting money everywhere else. Is the standard of player getting better? Because if you're reducing the wage bill but bringing in a better standard of player, then I can agree with it. See if you're reducing the wage bill but you're also reducing the quality whilst increasing the price you two are paying for a season ticket, then to me that becomes still downsizing. It's not really rebuilding or saving money. It's putting a less standard product at the other end.
Yeah. And I was just coming to that same point then, Scott, and there is, and very basically, as Ross says, unless the players do well and succeed and win trophies, it will always be classed as downsizing rather than rebuilding, won't it?
It will, Gary, and I think now it comes back to when you're bringing players in, if you do get any offers, they're going to have to be seriously considered, no matter what the offer is, because we are probably spending more money than we're bringing in, and that's why the wage bill had to go down. But the wage bill had to go down because the club made it like that itself. It was them that gave it the contracts, it wasn't anybody else, and Clewonski to be so delighted, but no many managers going to football clubs that know the full insides of the boardroom. They're just going to do the job as a football manager or a football coach. You don't know the ins and outs of what's going on behind the boardroom, and it might be different nowadays, but it's not what I've known in the past. So, and Coppin, somebody say Coppin, but Coppin was put in that position to bring his hands, and obviously Clement gets spoke with. Maybe do you think this player, he'll identify a position, they'll maybe go out and get with a list of players and see who can get and stuff like that. So, depending on how they do it, you might do. I don't know if they do it the stat wise and go look at players that way, but I just feel we have to cut corners. Curry mentioned about laying staff off. I don't know if it'll come to that, but you just never know. I know Man United are doing it. Man United are billions and billions of pounds in debt, man. Man United that much in debt. That's down to the ownership as well, to be fair, but I don't think we'll do that just now, but you just never know. So the club has to get back on a level keel and level footing. And I know the soft loans come in, but they're helping the club and it's their own money they're putting in. Fair play to them. But that's a problem if you get businessmen in charge and no football people. I know a lot of football clubs are up and down the world. I know if there's football people in charge in different positions, but as in owners, it's businessmen because businessmen are good at what they're doing, making money and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, you're never going to hear from him anyway. I know Bennett's putting a lot of money, but he stepped back. Gilligan, I don't know if he put in much, but you've got obviously the parts. I can't remember who else was there, and then obviously
Hong Kong based and things.
And I think McKine wanted to sell his shares well back, didn't he? But he wanted top dollar for them and stuff like that. Aye. So you just don't know. Listen, there's investors out there, but it's picking the right one. You can't pick somebody who's dodgy. We've been down that road before. But there's not a lot of people out there wanting to put in 30, 40, 50 million into Scottish football because you're not really going to get it back unless you're at the Champions League. And we're not going to be hitting the Champions League for a while unless you win that Europa League. And if you don't win that, I don't see us winning the league this season. Next season, next season is going to be as difficult the season after until we get the club on a level footing and get the equipment right and get the manager right. And that can take a while. mean, that can be another 2 or 3 seasons, maybe longer. I mean, it can flip overnight, as you know, but the way we're going just now, it's very difficult. And Nicholas has asked when I'm getting a Blazer. I'm just talking for a side that when I've worked at certain football clubs, I'm not talking for a side that as in my negative or positive opinion. I'm just talking about what I know. I'm not talking about Rangers. I'm just talking about football clubs in general.
No, there's umpteen sides to every story. Do you know the argument that Edmiston House is built, but they built it at the wrong time. Good idea, built at the wrong time. Done other things, built a museum at the wrong time. You know, they potentially done the disabled facilities. Great idea, everybody want it. Not the right time necessarily because you have to spend money. There's a whole host of different things. It's about making the right decisions. And unfortunately, there's been too many years when it's not been the right ones. Not to say it was a bad decision in terms of the principle behind it, but the outcome of it wasn't executed very well. Ross, I don't know what else has been happening, right? I've not looked at a lot of stuff. Has there been any other big news in the world of Rangers that we've not covered as we come towards the end of the pod, or anything you want to flag up, and then you've been thinking about as you've been sitting on your way down to Manchester today?
Nah, I've been sleeping soundly, Gary. I've not really been thinking about Rangers, to be honest. I came down today, so I'm in Portsmouth this week, Monday to Thursday. Then I'm up the road Thursday night, and then I'm down in Barrow Monday, Tuesday next week. So it'll be another hotel podcast next Monday. I'll try and make sure I remember it next Monday, right enough, and nobody try to stuff my face. Totally slipped my mind that the pod was on, but I thought you would add more than 2. But no, Rangers, I don't think there is anything else, is there? Is there anything else pressing?
There's nothing jumping out that I can think of. It's been a quiet weekend. It's probably going to be quiet most weeks until some big event happens the next month or so.
We'll need to have a big event. We'll need to have not another Rangers podcast live at Edmiston House.
Blue waffles.
Do you know what? What does it hold with about 3,000 or so viewers, 3,500 viewers Monday night?
Right, we can date the bus up across the road.
You can fill it out. For a small fee.
We can actually hire the dugout for the people we get to watch.
If Callum Beattie gets to play in it, we should be allowed in it. I'll tell you that. Danger. I'm not having that.
Listen, I have to say I quite like Edmiston House, but I do agree it was money. It was probably we could have spent better elsewhere. The museum, I think we've always needed a museum to be fair like that, but it was done at the wrong time as well. As for the disabled section, that should have been done years ago because these guys have been sitting in piss and rain and wind and everything, whereas other people are sitting in a bit of comfort and they're just as important. So I do agree that needed to be done just now, but it should have been done a few seasons ago. But as a lot too, they could have probably waited. But as you know, businessmen like Gary, they wanted to put stuff in place because they think it'll yield profit over years, and that's how they've done it. Whereas they should maybe concentrated more on the team winning in the park and then do it. And then, because when you're winning things and you're doing stuff like that, everything's easier done. The fans appreciate it more, like your shoes more, but when you're no winning stuff, it's negativity plus the crowds dwindle or people don't use it as much. So you're always better doing things when you're at the top, when you're winning, than when you're trying to get back up.
Yeah, no, definitely. Scott, Ricky, I can almost guarantee we'll be back on Friday. So my apologies for having watched tonight without him, but he should be back on Friday. He's travelling back as we speak just now. Please like, share and subscribe if you've watched. It's tonight's pod, and thank you very much for tuning in every time you do. You know, we genuinely joking aside, we were talking about the Edmiston House. We do appreciate there's thousands of people taking the time to actually watch us. It's not to be sniffed at. Thank you, everybody. We will be back on Friday night, and we will preview. Is it the Simon game? Is that the one it is?
Simon game, whatever else you want to talk about. I'd just like to say to Ross, thanks for popping on. I know you're doing in Portsmouth for your work and stuff, and you were munching away at 5 guys, but you should have just left it. But thanks for popping on. I appreciate that.
Lucky enough, mate. I'm in the Holiday Inn Express, which is next door to the 5 Guys on Curry's Point. I hope you noticed that I had no bread with my burger, just 2 burgers, no chip. That's it. Just on the health and safety. Fuck. It wasn't health and safety. It had jalapenos on it. I'll pay for that later on, Ken, I can assure you. But no, not a problem, mates. As I say, sorry, I forgot all about the 8:30 start, to be honest.
Not at all. Right. No, cheers for joining us. And Friday is dull. There's not much happening. We maybe get to give a couple of recipes and we'll see how it goes. If we get started on next Monday, we'll save it next Monday. That's when you're back in a hotel. Maybe there's a book in there, how to eat in hotel accommodation and stay fit at one time, that travelling around. There's maybe
Take
something around
stairs.
that.
Take your stairs, that's it. Take your stairs. Saving the lift electricity.
It's going to be a very short book if that's only line. You need a bit more than that.
Listen, anybody that knows me knows I'm a man that used to like lines, Gary, and that was one of the smallest ones. That's it. We're health, we're fitness, we look after ourselves. No, don't do drugs, kids. Don't eat fatty foods and take the stairs rather than the lifts. There you go. How's that for a closer?
That is the way to finish. And on that note, goodbye. Good night, everybody. See you on Friday.